In 2013, GTV helped record, edit, and air Goffstown Graduation. The process was labor-intensive and required hours of work after the fact, not to mention waiting. In 2014, GTV decided to do something a little different. What if we broadcast graduation live from St. A's? The idea seems simple, but could we pull it off? So there are lots of parts that really had to come together in order for this to work. Number one, we had to have our mobile kit, which if you watch any of the school board meetings, it's basically the exact same kit that we have there. It includes 3 robotic cameras and also a switcher that we use, and those parts all needed to be used for this as well in order to get graduation out. So for graduation, we had 3 robotic cameras. These robotic cameras are set up in strategic locations around the Sullivan Arena so that we could capture the right angles of what was happening. We were lucky enough to have Kim Perkins from St. A's let us use a lift. So we had our camera up high and it was above the crowd, right about where the crowd meets the graduates. And we were able to get the stage, the graduates coming up, the crowd reactions, all of that with one shot there. We had another camera located right near the stage. This was important because it gave us close access to what was happening on stage, but it was also extremely important for that process of when the graduates get their diplomas. So they're coming up, they have their name called up, and we have them on screen. And then they go and get their diploma, and that camera was all the way up in the balcony, manned by Gary Girolamo, the head of IT for the school district. And he was actually streaming that wireless from there down to our mobile setup so that we could have that 4th camera live on TV. So just getting our mobile kit there was one thing. But the next level of this was being able to get this all out onto the channel and to where people at home could watch it. A big thank you has to go out to Ken Perkins over at St. A's. What Ken did is he allowed us to use the internet. Now, what we did is we were taking our stream here of what was going on, so we were recording it at St. A's as it's happening. And what we're also doing is streaming that out into the internet. And then we took that stream and we captured it and put it on the channel. So anybody who wanted to go and watch it online, they could do that. And they could also watch it live on channel 16, which was a first-time event for something like that. So this may seem like a lot of work. You know, there's 4 cameras, there's a couple of people working, there's all these cables, and we're putting it out live. So what we did is we went over the day before to test out everything and then set up a little bit early the day of and then tore everything down afterwards and went home. And the reason that this was such a time saver as far as we're concerned, if you go back and look at what happened to Graduation 2013, there were 4 cameras there. It was all recorded, so each of those files had to be imported into the editing system, and that took nearly half a day just to accomplish that feat, just to get the files off of the camera. So then you have to edit those. Each time there's a change in that edit, that has to be edited in to that file, and it really, really adds up quickly. So when a graduate gets their diploma, you hear their name called out.
Jeffrey R. Paradise.
Walk up the ramp, they go get their diploma, shake hands with the principal, next kid.
Caitlin M. Parks.
So there's a couple of edits each time that happens. And when you have that happen over the series, there's so many kids and it just keeps going. All those edits take time. So the computer really has to think about what's happening with each of those edits. And I believe it was about 40 hours that it took for the file just to be created after the edit was done. So all of that editing that goes into that after the fact, after all of that is done, then it has to create that file, and it took almost 2 days for that to happen. And then it was able to be aired on the channel. It took a little over a week for us to just be able to get graduation on the channel in that instance last year. So this year, doing it live was a big time saver. It obviously was a big benefit to the community, and it was something that saved us so much more work, even if we had to do a little bit up front just in order to make it happen. There's a lot of prep work that goes on, and what you have to do is you have to have all of the graphics ready to go before you start. So those all had to be made. So every time you see something in the bottom there, something in the lower part of the screen that has, who is speaking, that was made a couple of days beforehand, so it was all ready to go. In fact, I have one of them up on the screen right now. It's the valedictorian, Nicholas Flanders. So that had to be created and put into the system before we were actually able to go on live.
Because no matter what the cliches may imply.
So during the stream, during the event, we're trying to get the best angles. We're reviewing everything that's coming in and then making those choices as to what should go out so people can see it. On top of that, we had about 44 people watching the live stream at its peak. We weren't keeping a close eye on it, but that seemed to be about the right number. This in spite of the fact that we didn't do any promotion of this until the day before the event. So that number was really high as far as I was concerned. Since graduation has happened, this is Monday that we're recording this, Monday at 3 o'clock, and so graduation was Wednesday. We've had about 600 views of the videos online. That's an incredible number. It's been shared and passed around, and I'm sure relatives and everybody else has seen it. And it's really something that's going to be a document for some of these graduates. They're going to come to a point in their life, it'll be 10 or 20 years from now, they'll want to look back on that moment that they graduated. Right now, they may think it's kind of funny and cool and cute and whatever. But they're going to come back to that moment, and it's going to be there. It's going to be right in front of them. They're going to be able to see it. And what an amazing thing that is for those people to be able to come back to that moment that they graduated and they received their diploma. So for us, for Goffstown TV, an event like graduation it's a community event. And I think that's what we're all about, is we're trying to capture some of these moments as best we can. We obviously need some volunteer help whenever something comes up, but we really are happy to have been able to provide that service to the community and to those graduates, and I think that at the heart is what community TV is really all about.